So I had a request. I put a shout out on the Facebook group this morning, on the chat group, and to see which kind of projects, themes, cards we wanted to do. And I was given the challenge, let's say, of men's cards in neutral colours. Claire was very specific. Men's cards in neutral colours. So Claire, you better come online. Good morning, Jill. How are you? How you doing? I was just saying that Claire was very specific in her choice of colours this morning for the challenge that she set me. So men's cards in neutral colours. So I'm hoping I'll rise to the challenge. Morning, Lisa. How are you? All right. You, Anne-Marie, in the office for 3 days. Oh, are you? In the office for 3 days. So you're not at home, not with the cats. Have you got real colleagues today? Morning, Jill. You're good. Oh, that's nice to hear. I'm pleased. The sun's shining again. Well, it is here anyway. Not so windy. Ross has just done a load of washing. Bless him. He's working from home, obviously. But he's put a load of laundry in. He's taken the bins out. I've just been sat in the craft room all morning. I feel a bit guilty, but he's quite happy. He says, no, he's quite happy to do the chores. Bless him. It's like he won't let me. It's like he doesn't trust me to do the laundry or something. You're good, Lisa. I'm glad. I'm glad. Keep him busy. Keep him watching videos. I know I've been watching lots of different people's videos. I've even signed up to Emma's class in the post because I've never been to a class of Emma's. I've always wanted to, but I never seem to be able to make it. So I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity. I've got the stamp set and die set that she is planning on using coming tomorrow. Morning, Paula. How you doing? All right. So I thought, well, what a perfect time to do that. And I normally go live on a Friday morning as well, but I've got to go to work this week on Friday, so I'm going to try and pop online. Morning, Claire. Morning, Jeanette. Morning, Louise. How you doing? I'm going to try and pop on Thursday evening for a live as well. So Anne-Marie, if you've got to work today, if you're actually got to work and you can't watch while you're working, please do pop on Thursday evening. I know I don't do many evenings. So I thought I'd... Russ races anyway, so he's doing his racing with his friends. I think they're racing tonight as well, a bit of an impromptu one. I think all the partners, the husbands, are probably getting fed up with the wives, so they've decided to do an impromptu race night tonight. Morning, Sandy. Oh, lovely. It's nice to see you all. Right, Claire, I was saying earlier, you set me a specific challenge today, which is men's cards in neutral colours. So I'm hoping I have chosen neutral enough colours for you. Morning, Sandy. How you doing, lovely? All right. Kate, how are you? And Heidi. Nice to see you all. Thank you very much for coming on. Are you in the warehouse downstairs? Well, good. Try and keep out of the way of everybody. Yeah, I'm lucky in the office. There's only 2 of us, so it's quite quiet. Good morning, Jeanette. Lovely to see you. I'm hoping Julie might find us today. Bless her. I miss you too. I miss you too. Can't believe you both moved away. Right, so when I kind of do men's cards, do you know what my first go-to set is? Rooted in Nature. It is amazing. I was lucky enough to win this set at... Oh, you can't see me. Oh. I was lucky enough to win this set at On Stage last year. Gosh, that would have been last April. In Telford. I got the whole stamp set for free. I say win, it was part of our little goodie box that we split up at the end. And I've used it several times. If Rebecca pops on today, I made her son's birthday card using this set. It literally is just my go-to set. So we're going to be using that one. And then you're in the office and have one in the warehouse. Ah, perfect. So just the 2 of you. That's good. Yeah, that's really good. So we're going to use some colours as well. I'll turn you around in a bit so you can see what we're doing, but you could look at my lovely face for a bit. We're going to be using Mossy Meadow and Pear Pizzazz. We're going to be using Soft Suede and Crumb Cake. And the reason there's 2 of each kind of colour is for a reason. You'll find out in a minute. And we're going to be using Cajun Craze. Don't know if terracotta tile might go with Cajun Craze. We might do. We might not need it. But yeah, the other thing I'm going to do is I've got 2 kind of things to show you. Card sketches. How many of us use card sketches? how many of us even know what a card sketch is? So a card sketch is where you, I'll show you. These are my card sketches. They're a bit naff, but there they are. So I kind of went through Pinterest this morning, and oh, your stuff's arriving. You got a delivery arriving today. Whoop whoop. Yes, I know. And Mo, if she comes on, I'm sure hers is probably being delivered today. Mine's being delivered tomorrow. So yes, these are a bit naff. These are my card sketches. So I kind of go through Pinterest or look at my old cards and look at the layout of the card, and then kind of make a little drawing of it. That's essentially what a card sketch is. If you haven't seen them, have a Google, because they're really useful. A starting point for inspiration sometimes. Sorry if the light's really bad. The sun's just starting to come up over the back hedgerow. It gets a bit chilly in here in the mornings. It brightens up about now, so I'm going to get blinded. I'll switch you around and it'll be fine. So yeah, that's what I'm going to kind of make cards based on, really. And then the other technique that we're going to do, Jeanette was inspired by Katie Drew, a demonstrator that works with Jeanette now down in Somerset, I think it is. Although Katie lives 2 hours from the class venue, bless her, and drives back and forth every time. I think, oh, that is dedication for you. She reminded me of the wet wipe technique. And Jeanette, we did the wet wipe technique, I think, in our first ever class. Was it? No, it wasn't our first ever. It was one of our very early ones, though. I'm sure we did the wet wipe technique. And anyway, you guys in the class really seem to love it. It's a fab technique. I've got a few baby wipes left. I don't like using baby wipes as much. Obviously, they are bad for the environment. But this is just such a cracking technique. You could probably also do it on a wetted tea... not tea towel. Don't do it on a tea towel. You'll get in trouble. A wetted kitchen roll. That's what I'm thinking. Good morning, Fiona. How are you? So, I'll switch you around. I'm going to try and use the rear camera because then everything should be in the right view for you. And we're going to get making a couple of cards. So I'm using my card sketch as an idea, and we're going to use the baby wipe technique. Okay. Right. Excuse me a sec while I spin you round. I think I've got to do this. Yeah. And then make you all sick for a minute. I do apologise. I need to get a more seamless way of doing this. So I put my card sketch off to one side. And this is the set that we're going to be using. Rooted in Nature. If you can't see, I will sort it out in a minute. I just need to catch up, let my thing catch up. So I'm going to use the 2 leaf stamp sets. Now I haven't mounted these. This is not a cling mount stamp set. This is a clear mount stamp set. There we go. That should be all right for you guys. So the difference between a cling mount and a clear mount is these labels. The new ones are really, really good. I always put them on, but these other ones are... Oh, you've been wanting to learn this technique for ages. The wet wipe technique, super duper. It's really easy and stunning, I think. So yes, I haven't put these labels on. If you get the cling mount ones, I always put them on. But I haven't put these ones on yet. So that explains that. So the baby wipe technique. Just need a stamping block or 2. One for that one. Sorry about the banging. I work on a glass mat, which is great for making a mess on, but not so great for clanging blocks. Okay, so we need a wet wipe. And then all I'm going to do, if you can see, is try and keep it away from where my card's going to be. I only need a little ink pad. We're basically going to make an ink pad. Okay, so I've already cut my card blank and my mat and my layer, and this is going to be my layer. Okay, so what we're going to do is take some re-inker. So we're working with the Stampin' Up! Re-inkers. If you haven't bought them to refill your ink pads, you might want to go out and buy some for this technique. Okay, they're £3.50 each, something like that. Morning, Emma. £3.50 each, I think, but I will double check that. And they're fab for a lot of different techniques. Our ink pads are really special over and above a lot of other ink pads because you can refill them. All you do is just put a few drops of this stuff on. But I'm going to use them today to make up my own ink pad. Yes, you can just about see that in the picture there. So what I'm going to do is put a couple of drops on. And you don't need many, especially not of the darker colours. And I'm actually going to use the 3. I was wondering if I'd just use 2, but I'm going to go for 3 because they work so nicely together, these ones. The Mossy Meadow, the Old Olive and the Pear Pizzazz. I'm just going to pop a few drops on. And these last forever. I've never replaced one. I've been a demo now for about 3 years, just over 3 years. My upline Rachel made me a lovely card. I didn't even realise it was my stamp anniversary. And she made me a lovely card to say, happy 3 years, I've enjoyed the journey with you. Which I thought was beautiful. But yeah, I hadn't even remembered. And all I'm going to do is dip my stamp into that ink pad and then stamp. And you can just about see the colour gradient, the colour differences. So I'm going to go straight on, I think. And I'm using this card sketch, so what I'm going to do is put the leaves down the right hand side. I might need a bit more on actually because of that stamp's a bit bigger. So I'm just going to put a few more dots on. And I want more of that mossy meadow to come through. So I'm just going to put a few more of those in the middle. Excuse me, I seem to have something in my throat. I've just had my fruits and yoghurt for breakfast, which was delicious. Kate, bless her, this morning said I'm the only reason she set her alarm this morning, and I can tell you what, sometimes you guys are the only reason I set my alarm. It's nice to have something to do. So a few drops of that on there. Just make that ink pad a little bit bigger. So we've got the Mossy Meadow, the Old Olive and the Pear Pizzazz. I'm just going to stamp that around here. Get a nice coverage of ink on there. And again, you can just see that gradient in the colour there. So it gives you a nice effect. And don't forget to stamp off the page when you're stamping. Don't have to, but I think it gives quite a nice effect. Sometimes when you're just starting out, it's where you just think, oh, I have to focus on the inside here. So I'm leaving a little bit of space for my little ones to go in a minute. Decisions on where to put things, isn't it? A little bit there. Put one there. Oh yes, you're going to start crafting again tonight, Anne-Marie. So you have had a bit of a switch round. I read that you decided not to move upstairs in the end. What made you make that decision? But a little bit more space downstairs, which will be nice for you. So that's our stamping all done on this one, really. I'm going to be working with copper as well today. So I've dragged out all my copper bits. And don't forget, this is the sketch I'm going with. So I've got leaves down the right hand side and I'm going to make some form of a focal point here. I'm learning how to layer on my cards and do lots of kind of different embellishments and bits. So I've been watching lots of different videos, been looking at Pinterest. Crafting really is a learning process. But I think I want to use the sentiment from this set. One of these cards is going to be made for Russ. And this has got some beautiful sentiments on this set. So in a bit, I think I'll use this one to thank. Words are never enough to thank you for all you do, which is just amazing. And he does so much around the house, bless him. But I thought this one, you are wonderful, as well. Actually, I could put that on the inside and that on the outside. So we're going to take the stamp. You are wonderful. Now I have put the backing on this one. We were saying earlier I haven't put it on all of them, but I have on this one. So we'll see if it sticks. And I'm going to heat emboss. I've been doing a bit of heat embossing in my art journal this morning, and I had the copper out, which is why it made me think that I could use the copper. No, so that's not going to stick. Sometimes they don't, especially when it's so cold in here. Even my glue doesn't stick sometimes. It gets so cold. Right, so that sticks a bit better. And I'm going to cut it out, so it doesn't matter too much if it's straight or not. But if you do take the labels off, sometimes you just need to make sure you line it up straight and have a practice on your grid paper. Good morning, Jay. How are you? Are you well? I do hope so. Such a glorious day out there today, isn't it? So, to heat emboss, I've got my Stampin' Emboss Buddy. And I'm just going to tap that along here. All we don't want is the oils from our fingers to be spread all over this card, because then the embossing powder will stick to the oils where you've made marks on the card. So we're going to use the Versamark, the sticky ink there. And I'm just going to stamp that in the middle. I'm just going to get my... I normally have a piece of paper, here it is. This is actually a letter from the solicitor. It's probably not the best thing to use, but it was what was on hand. I can always print it off again. So I'm just going to use that. When you're using embossing powder, always make sure there's something underneath to catch it with. I know lots of people have theirs in plastic tubs. I don't, but this is the way I do it. And then I just sprinkle on the embossing powder. Shake that off. And then the first thing I always do, put the powder back in the jar and put the lid back on. Because you all know how clumsy I am. It's sunny. Yeah, I'm freezing, Jay. I'm with you. I've got my blanket wrapped round me. I'm cold. So I feel for you. And then I'm just going to heat emboss this. I just need to plug it back in because I've plugged the heater in instead of the embossing gun. Excuse the noise for a second. I just love heat embossing because of the magic. It's like magic when it transforms from a dull, quite boring sentiment into what I'm going to show you in a minute. There we go, we've got a lovely copper sentiment. I'm going to cut that out. Love the snips. Just quite loosely round. I saw a tip on, gosh, I can't remember where it was recently. Somebody said they're not a massive fan of fussy cutting and struggle fussy cutting out sentiments. So what they did was take where the, I'll show you in a minute because it'll make more sense, where the stamp comes out of the rubber, you can draw around the sentiment and then just cut round the lines, which I thought was a cracking tip if you're not too comfortable cutting it out yourself. So that's that one. So what I'm going to try and do on my focal point on the left hand side, heat embossing is the best. I know, I love it. Absolutely love it. You've got thermals and a scarf. I've not got a scarf on, but I probably should have my thermals on. So what I'm going to try and do is just layer up on this left hand side. I'll use a little bit of copper underneath as well, I think, and I've got some copper trim. And I've got some out, I think they're retired now, but I've still got a few left. So metallic sequins. I've got some of this trim left, some green twine. Oh, that's a nice ribbon as well, actually, that one. I think this might be retired as well. But there's loads of stuff in the catalogue. And so you're spoilt for choice with what you wish to use. So I'm just going to cut a length of that. Morning, Becca. How are you? You've been working recently? Yeah, so amazing tip. Sorry, but I didn't finish it off, did I? So let me show you what I was actually talking about. So here, where the stamp came out of here, you could get the rubber, if you keep hold of the rubber, and then draw around onto your card. And then you can just cut round the pencil lines. Make sense? Yeah, handy little tip. So let me trim a little piece of this. We're winging it again today, ladies, because I've not planned this. I only got set this challenge by Claire this morning. It was about 8:30. I thought, I don't know what to do. So I put a little shout out on our Facebook group and said, what do people want to see me make? Some of you, bless you, just said anything. We're happy with whatever you make. I don't know how big to make this. Let's just trim this to about there. So I'm going to fishtail, is that called fishtailing the end? Just pop the scissors in halfway, cut down, and then you can cut from each corner, and that way you know you've got an equal. So I'm just going to pop that on there. all I try and do when I'm doing this is see what it looks like, play around with it, get lots of different bits of elements. I might do a little bit more heat embossing and get some bits and bobs. I had a play with the dies this morning as well. Look at that, isn't that stunning? So let's pop that on top of there. Might be a bit big. Let's pop it under and see what it looks like. Oh no, that's nice actually. I'm going for quite a simplistic. I don't think for masculine cards you don't need to go too over the top. Certainly I know Russ he likes clean and simple things. Oh, you're off at the moment. Me too, Rebecca. Back in at the weekend. Bless you. I hope you can find some time to rest and relax and enjoy yourself. Bless you, all the hard work you're doing. Maybe a little bit of this green twine as well. I could pop some of that underneath, or tie a little. But no, you don't want to do a bow for men. Men don't really like bows, do they? My dad, when I first started crafting, I didn't know anybody. I didn't really have a social network at all, and so my dad was the recipient of all of my cards, and he's got very used to having cards with flowers and butterflies. Because I didn't really know what I was doing with making men's cards, so I just did the normal stuff. And so bless him, but he's put them all on the mantelpiece. He doesn't throw them away. He's struggling with this lockdown, I think, at the moment. He does not like being caged up inside the house. He's very much an outdoorsy kind of person, and yeah, really struggling at the moment, I think. He's volunteered for the NHS volunteer service to try and give him something to do. So hopefully they'll keep him busy. I don't think he's done anything with them yet though. I think they've had more volunteers than they know what to do with, which is fab. Absolutely fabulous. There we go. So I'm just going to use red tape on the back of this ribbon. Red tape is my go-to tape for sticking ribbon down with. Could use glue dots as well if you don't have any red tape. And I'm just going to line that up on there. Pop a little bit of twine down actually. So the way I do the twine, that is with a glue dot. They're really super sticky, these glue dots. And all I'm going to do is take this here where I've got the kind of band, and if you wanted to, you can make this different sizes. So you're just twirling it round your fingers and then twirl it round a different finger and you'll get a different size loop. You see that? And then might make just one smaller one in there as well. There we go. And then where the ends meet, where you've got this group here, pop that onto the glue dot. Just like that, you see? I'll try and get that little one to stick in there. We might need to use 2 glue dots. So let's lift that off. Pop that on another one. We want to make sure it sticks, don't we? Going for 3. Right. I'm like Pip Todman with her dimensionals. I've never seen somebody put so many dimensionals, bless. And I'm just going to pop that on there. So it's just going to give us another accent to look at under there. And then we're going to balance that up with something coming out the top as well. Okay, so I'm going to stick the leaf on with a bit of Tombow glue. And I'm going to use dimensionals for this so that it comes up and over the top. I might bring that twine up a little bit as well when I stick this down. It's just hanging a little bit too low for my liking. So there's 2 ways we can do that. We can use a glue dot, seeing as we've got them out. And I can just pop one under there and that'll just lift it up, and then you can just play around with it basically. I reckon bow tying is 10% tying the bow and 90% titivation, which is one of my favourite words. So I'm just going to pop some dimensionals on the back there. 2 will probably do me. Yes, even these are not sticking, it's so cold. And then I'm just going to layer that on top. There. Okay. When you're working with your ink pad, don't forget that you have got it out still, so do be a little bit careful around your workspace. We all know what it's like when we leave the lid off an ink pad or leave them open. And then what I'm going to do is layer that on top of my pre-cut Mossy Meadow, which is 14 centimetres by 10 centimetres. Good morning, Anita. How are you doing, my lovely lady? You all right? Did you forget about us? Right, we're going to layer that up on there. So Claire, I hope this is neutral enough for you. Mossy Meadow is actually in the neutral collections because it is classed as a neutral, but I appreciate that it's kind of green. So it depends what you were after. We're going to do another one in a minute with a bit more brown on, I think. Maybe. See how I feel when we get there. Like I say, I haven't got any samples pre-prepared. My focus this week is to prepare for May's online class, which will be on the 1st of May, Friday the 1st of May, I think. Due to the fact that when the class was supposed to be happening, which I think was on the following Friday week, when we were supposed to be meeting in the hall, I'm actually on my cover week, and with everything going on at the moment, I may be required to work. So there we go. There's one card. I'll bring it back in at the end so we can see a little bit more in detail. But that was the card sketch that we were going for. This one. My rustic drawing. That was what I was going for, and that's what we've ended up with. So, that's card number 1. My next sketch is this one here. So again, I've pre-cut my card base, pre-cut my Mossy Meadow, and I've pre-cut my Whisper White. I might have to do a bit more heat embossing for this one, so you have to bear with me while I do all of that lot. What I thought we would do is start with the banner across the middle. So I think I will go with a piece of, actually I'll go with a piece of copper across the middle, and I just happen to have it this width, and I know that this across here is 9.5, so I'm just going to bring my trimmer in. I so should have got that mini trimmer, that mini guillotine. I didn't get it, but it would have been perfect for sitting on this little space doing lives with you guys. Little did I know at the time I would be doing so many lives. Lovely, thank you, Paula. Thank you. Did you enjoy your birthday the other day? Did you have a good celebration in the evening as well? It was nice to have you join us. And so what I'm going to do is just cut a little piece of Mossy Meadow, the same width, 9.5. Bring out my trusty ruler. I use my ruler a lot in crafting, so much so that one of my friends bought me a ruler for my birthday, because she was fed up with me at workshops, where I go to workshops, my Uplines workshops, just saying, has anybody got a ruler? Has anybody got a ruler? So she bought me one, and I keep it in my craft bag. So I'm going to cut that by 2 centimetres because that copper bit was about 2.5. I'm going to emboss this using the 3D Layered Leaves embossing folder. This one. So I'm going to emboss this to give us a bit of texture on the top. So I'm just going to pop it in and run it through my embossing folder. If I can get the plate thicknesses right, I'm always a bit confused as to what I need for these thick ones. There we go. Socially, no probs, Heidi. Nice to see you, my lovely. How you doing? So I've just embossed that with the Layered Leaves embossing folder. Been continuing ever since. More presents and cards arrived yesterday. Lovely. Oh, that's nice. Get basically a week-long birthday. And so I'm just going to pop that. Yeah, that looks nice. I'm going to pop that onto there using some Tombow glue. So I'm going to use this as a kind of guide. I'm not going to stick this onto the white card base first, but I'm going to decide where I want it, and then I'm just going to pop some pencil marks. So I want it fairly high up. That's the sketch, don't forget, that we're going with. And I'm going to grab my pencil, which I'm hoping is in here. I keep using everything for everything. I'm doing a lot of art journaling at the moment, which is fab. I love it. It's using all of my supplies, getting everything out and about, but it does mean that things aren't necessarily where they should be when I come to try and find them. Crash bang one. Fab colours again, thank you. This is Claire's choice. It's been directed to. I've got the biggest pencil case in the world. I thought it was too big when I bought it, but it's really not. What's this? There it is. Okay. So, we'll grab the pencil, and I'm just going to pop a couple of marks, just so I know, and we can always rub these out later, but we might find that they are covered up by the stamping anyway. And that's just going to help me know where I want this, so that if I put things on, I don't end up covering it all up by the strip in the middle. So we're going to use an Artisan Textures stamp set. I bought this one, but it's not had an awful lot of use, but it's got some gorgeous textures in it. And we're just going to use this little one, I think. And I'm going to pop some texture on the background. So I think we'll do that in crumb cake. Excuse me, I did make myself a drink. I've got one here. But I'm going to stamp it off because I just want that really light texture in the background. And I can go over these lines, that's not a problem. Just going to pop one there, and come off the same the other side. So that'll give us a little bit of background texture. It might be enough, might not. I don't even know if you'll be able to see that on the camera, to be honest. At least I'm managing to get my videos the right way up these days. Where do the hours go? I know, right? Honestly, I can't believe it. It goes so fast. We'll be out of lockdown before we know it. Right, just try and every now and again I'll just put this back on, you see, and just think, is that looking how I want it to look? So let's do some stamping on some spare Whisper white card. So in this stamp set, I love everything actually. I love the leaves, but this is gorgeous and looks stunning in copper. So I'm going to grab that out. I've already got the leaves out. I don't want the big trees. So I might do some more of those leaves again, I think. And I can cut those out using the dies. The dies are fab as well. So many. I mean, I've taken half of them off there. Look how many you get. So let's cut some of these. I'll just stamp a load and we'll see how we get on. Practice makes perfect. It does indeed, Sandy. I'm always saying it. Practice makes perfect. The more you want to improve, the more you just have to play. Probably don't want too many of those big ones. That's probably enough. And then again, I'm going to heat emboss these. So let's use our Emboss Buddy. Some people don't get on with this Embossing Buddy, but I quite like it. We might not use everything that we're going to make here, but that's okay. Fab view of my desk. My desk is, yeah, a mess, Heidi. I was telling you all last week, I don't really have a desk as such. I have got a piece of bedroom furniture, which I bought because it just seemed to fit my needs at the time in here. I only buy second-hand stuff until we're settled in our final home, which is not yet. We just I'm just making do But one day I'm going to have everything just how I want it. So we need that copper embossing powder wherever I put it, and my little catch-all sheet. There we go. And then just pop that back in there, because we know what it's like. I mean, we don't want to throw all of our embossing powder over the desk. That would be a bad start to the morning. Right, so I'm just going to heat emboss these. Heidi, I was just reading, you haven't even inked your bees up yet. Are you mad? You've been so busy. Bless you. God, you need to get them out and have a play. I've got some to go on my journal. I'm going to be using some of those soon, because again, they just look fab embossed in copper, I thought, for the bees. So I'm just going to trim these down, and then I'm going to run those through the Big Shot. So talk amongst yourselves. I'll try and keep chatting to you while I'm over there. Stand up to do my heat embossing, my embossing, my die cutting. So the coordinating dies, like I said, there's nearly a die for nearly everything. So I need this one, I need this one, and the big leaf there as well. And we'll cut all of these out. So don't forget, when you run things through the die cutting machine, you can cut out multiples at once. So we can cut 3 out at a time. One big one, one small one, and one of the embellished leaves. If I'd been organised, I'd have done these ahead of time, but I've not been organised, so you'll have to wait for me. The silence is me trying to line everything up on the Big Shot so that we don't get any slippings. I could use the magnetic plate, but I'm not going to. So there we go, we've got one of those, and one of those. I'm going to use Cajun Craze on this as well, I think. It's such a gorgeous colour. And we'll cut some of the, almost like maple leaves out. So we'll cut some of those out as well, I think. Russ was telling me about maple syrup the other day, and I had absolutely, I'm a bit embarrassed to tell you this, I had no idea it came from maple trees. So it's literally just the sap from the maple tree. Which I'm sure you all knew, but I did not. So every day is a school day. So we're going to cut some of these out. We might only do 2 of each, I think, and then see how we get on. I might do 3 of these copper ones because they are gorgeous. And then I'm going to make up another wet wipe pad, I think, to do the Cajun Craze leaves. I don't think any of that's usable, so we'll have to use another one. I could have just done it on half. Julie, you can't find me? Okay, let's have a look. Is that Jeanette? Have you got Julie as your friend? Can you try and drag her into the Facebook group, into the... let's have a look. Bear with me 2 secs, ladies. One of the ladies is trying to find us, and she's just sent us a message. Right, there we go. So I'm going to make up another ink pad. Thank you, Sandy. Yeah, if you can try and direct Julie, that would be amazing. I know she couldn't find us last time, and she really wants to come on and have a look and see what we're up to. Hey, Julie, you found us. Oh, I'm pleased. Nice to see you, my lovely lady. So, let's see if I've got Cajun Craze refill. I might not have, because it's quite a new colour to me. So I'm going to try something. There's Terracotta Tile. Here's Cajun Craze. I wonder if I use the block to pick up some colour, I can then transfer that onto the baby wipe. And then put a couple of drops of this around it. Might need a bit more than that. See if this works. A couple more drops of, this is just crumb cake, so I just want to mix the tones up a little bit really. And I'm going to use the maple leaf, this one. On my dirty block. Yes, that's nice. So it's a little bit watery, it's not as strong as the other one would be, so that can kind of sit in the background, that leaf. So let's grab a bit more of our Wisp White. It's a bit messy this, isn't it? Julie, this is the wet wipe technique. Oh, Anita, you shared it with Julie. Perfect. Thanks, guys. They put holes in the trees in Canada and let it drop out. Yes, literally. So if you buy the proper maple syrup, that's exactly what it is. It's literally just the sap from the tree. I think they might put a bit of sugar with it. If you buy the cheaper stuff, it's not. It's like refined, made from more glucose, like golden syrup. So Julie, we're using the wet wipe technique today. I know you're a bit late joining us. So this is what Katie was on about in the group that you're in the other day. And you essentially just use a wet wipe to make up an ink pad. So you get a mottled effect. I can't remember if you were with us in Messy Hands when we did this in the group. But if you've got some re-inkers, and I've just shown you don't even need the re-inkers, you can do it with the ink pad even there. So we've just cut out a few little bits here, okay? So we're going to bring our working back in, and we're just going to layer up. They might be too big, those big leaves I cut, and they might go right, maybe if they go right underneath. But I don't want to cover up all of my background. Maybe we do a small one. That looks nice. I quite like that. Do I want a leaf stamped? Do we want anything stamped in the background? Oh, decisions, decisions. I'm not great at making decisions. Maybe that one over there. And then a bigger. It's nice just to show you all how I kind of create though. Certainly because I say I'm still learning this technique of building up the layers. So I quite like that, but I do want some of this stamping off to the right. So if I can find that stamp and the crumb cake ink again. I stamped it off, and then I'm just going to move everything this way and stamp there. And then I've got to try and remember where it all was to put it all back again. I sometimes take a picture to help remind me. So I'm just going to go for it. Put that leaf on there. And then that one coming up there. And once you've got all this texture on, we might find we have to put the banner up on blocks, but that's okay. A little bit of this. Yeah, Julia, if you go onto my page, if you like it and follow it, then you should get notifications when I come on live through your Facebook. There we go, so that's that side, and we're going to go the same this side. So I'm just going to pop on another bit of textured stamp there. And we're going to go for the same, I think. The big leaf coming out the bottom. I'm just trying to replicate it ever so slightly. It hasn't got to be accurate to the nth degree, but it's a little bit of what do you call that? Symmetrical. Is that what it is? A little bit of symmetry going on. So I put a bit of Tombow glue. This glue is fab, isn't it, guys? It just sticks anything and everything. I've stuck some metal cogs down with it in my journal yesterday. So a bit of that there. And this one coming out here. Very small dots. Yeah, absolutely. There's loads of little stamp sets. If you get the stamp set, and you often see in there these tiny little dots or these tiny little hearts. That's exactly what they're there for, is for filling in all those little empty spaces. So that's just a little bit of neutral coming there. What else do we want to do? That's going to go up on, I think we might want some twine again. Might go for this. I might go for this green twine again. I've got some Whisper White, which might look quite striking. Oh, I quite like that. Yep, so let's cut some of that. So twine or ribbon, again, I'm just going to use a little bit of red tape, and I'm going to pop some on the edges of each of these here. I don't know why you've not done this before, Fiona. It is easy to do. It's one of those techniques, and I know I've got lots of them in my arsenal that I never use. For some reason, I've seen them or heard about them or know about them, but I've never used them. But it's a lovely little way of playing. It is messy, so obviously I've only got one sheet of grid paper here, otherwise that would kind of soak through. But it's good fun sometimes just to get your hands a bit dirty and get stuck in there. One more report to write and then organise your Zoom, bless you, and then you're going to have a play. So all I'm going to do is lie that on there. And I'm going to come right the way around. If I'm short of ribbon or twine, I cut it, but I'm not. On the white, I've got plenty. So let's just trim that off there. And I might pop, I think these are still current. Nice, a little bit of a copper leaf. Do we want to go extravagant and do 2? Yeah, let's go 2. So again, you can stick these down with Tombow if you want, or I tend to use glue dots for them. So if I'm using glue dots on something heavy like this, come on, stick. It's just the cold in here sometimes. So I've popped 3 on, and before I press it down, again, I'm just going to line that up there, make sure I'm happy with that. And then give it a good old press down, same on the other side. Trying to think ahead and think what we're going to do for our third card. I might do a box. Pop that on there like that. So I'm just going to take my rubber now and start rubbing out my pencil lines from earlier, because I'm quite happy. I know where that's going to go now. Okay. I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back of here. Don't forget, we're not going to be able to put dimensionals on top of here because then it's going to be really high and too high. So you need to kind of judge where you want your dimensionals. And if you get it wrong, you can always pull them off. It's not the end of the world. So let's go for one there. One there. One there. Don't forget, we've got little dimensionals as well, the mini ones. If you wanted to put a little mini one on, you could do. Is that going to be enough to hold it up? Yep, perfect. So, do we want... Oh, I know what we want. Okay. I want a sentiment on here. Oops, I'm getting a bit of a sticky mess with my dimensionals. So I want a sentiment. I'm going to layer it onto the card back. It's not something I often do this. I'm going to layer it all together first. I normally leave it until we've finished. But with this one, because I want to decide where my sentiment looks best, I need to kind of see what it's going to look like. I just love it when you mat it and it just turns it from something that looks nice but okay, a bit flat, and you put it all together and it looks great like that. Is anyone else crafting as well? Oh, you're colouring in flowers. I always do when I watch videos, Heidi, absolutely. Yeah, grab some stuff and have a play, ladies. It's nice to craft along. You're knitting, layering cards, good. I'm glad you're all crafting. Sandy, what are you knitting now? Still little baby hats? Claire, your Dumbo cards look fab. Right, so just pop that on there. And we're going to use the sentiment, be strong, be happy, be you. Which I think is a brilliant one for just now. Be strong, be happy, be you. I'm going to stamp that in. I'm going to go for Cajun Craze and see what it looks like. Just to bring out that hint of Cajun Craze in the background. If I can find the stamp pad. There we go. Everything gets buried. I mean, it's such a tiny workspace, but gosh, I don't know where it all goes. Okay, so be strong, be happy, be you. Onto a little piece of Worcester white. Can you see how that's a bit mottled there? It just might mean that I've got too much ink on my ink pad. So one thing you can do is you can take an old card and just gently run that over your ink pad, okay? All you're doing, where the ink has kind of risen to the surface, and it creates like a mottled effect, if you like, because we store our ink pads upside down. Don't forget, when you pull that out and round, all the ink drips to the surface. So you're just pushing it back into the ink pad a little bit, and we'll give that a go. Yeah, much nicer. Okay, so if you're not getting the best impression out of your ink pads, give that a go. Just an old credit card. That was an old National Trust card. Hey, morning Rachel. I didn't know you were with us. Nice to see you. See you in inverted commas. Cannula tubes for babies. So wicked. I inspire you, Heidi. Oh, bless you. You lot inspire me too. Like I say, this was Katie Drew. If you've not followed Katie Drew, honestly, find her. She makes the most beautiful cards. It's a style. She's got her own style, like most of us have. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Find her. Find her blog. I'm trying to convince her to do Facebook Lives. But she's not quite there yet. Doesn't believe me that it's okay. So what we're going to do is cut this out. This is like that Label Me Bold stamp set, which I don't have. Shock horror. a stamp set I do not have. But it's quite nice. Yeah. I nearly bought it. I nearly bought that one in my last order, but all I did was really stock up on paper and card. Card rather, and I got my Celebration bits. Right. Be happy, be strong, be you. Is that the way it was? Was it be strong, be happy, be you? I can't remember. What did it say? Be strong, be happy, be you. So where do we want this one? Strong, be happy, be you. Just like that, I think. Yeah, it's very useful to know, Heidi. I know with those of you with non-Stampin' Up! Ink pads, why have you not got Stampin' Up! Ink pads is my first question. But no, seriously, if you don't store your ink pads upside down and you find they're going dry, store them upside down. We're lucky with Stampin' Up! They've made the best design, and they are naturally stored upside down, so all the ink comes to the top. But it can be a bit strong sometimes, so you just need to push it back into place. Be strong, be happy, be you. So I would say this is a bit more stepped up from our last card. We've got a little bit more detail in here, a bit more layering, and that's that one. I'm going to go back and put some sequins on this one. I know they're retired, but I like them. And I get to show you the Take a Pic tool, which is this fabulous little thing. If you don't have one, you should have one. I know those that do diamond painting have a very similar thing, but those that don't, this is a fab little tool. And this comes with a pokey tool on the back. It comes with a spatula for lifting things off, and it comes with a ballpoint pen. No, not pen. A ballpoint scorer for scoring things. So fabulous little tool. You made a bag of scrubs for GP yesterday. Oh, fabulous. Promised to make more for her colleagues, then just put everything in the washing machine. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, it's incredible. And as long as they put them on a boil wash, I think that's what they have to do, isn't it? Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? I wish I could sew. My fortes are not in sewing or in baking. Just give me some paper. I could probably make you anything. But yeah, anything else, no, I'm rubbish. So good for you guys. Thank you for making some beautiful things to help people out. So I'm just going to put some of those on there. Good morning, Jan. How you doing, my lovely lady? Has anything been clashing with us today? I know you said to me last time everything keeps clashing. So I'm just going to put that down. What I tend to do is pull two sides of this Take Your Pic tool, because you don't want to get this end, which is like a putty, and that's what helps the sequin to stick to it. But you don't want to get it gluey, otherwise it will never come back off. So I put a bit of glue on, and then I just use that tool to push it down with. I love a sticky back sequin, but these are not, and so we have to kind of find another way. There we go. So I just thought I needed to put those on there. So we've got, that was our first card, which I've just modified slightly. This is our second card, and I think we might make a box. I want to give Russ a present, but I don't really know what to put in it. I don't have anything to give him. I've eaten all the chocolate. And apart from his, he likes dark chocolate. So let me put those to the side, and let's see what we do next. See, I just think that they work, certainly with the crumb cake colour, so well with these boxes. Or I could make a copper bag. Could do a copper treat bag. Or I could make a bag to put the card in. That would be fun, wouldn't it? I don't normally decorate bags. I do struggle with them, so it might just be a bit of a learning curve for me. It's like making an envelope, and then you just fold that over the top. Oh, can you tell I'm winging it, peoples? Amazing cards as always. Well done. Thank you, Claire. Should I quit while I'm quit while I'm ahead, or should we go for making an envelope? I don't really know what I'm doing, although there is no change there. My lovely ladies know me. Right, so I'm going to make an envelope. For this card. No! Well, no to what? Don't quit while I'm ahead. Keep going. Is that what you're knowing to? Okay, I'll keep going. Oh, we could do... Yes, see, I could use those to thank... Words were never enough to thank you for all you do. And we could almost do... like a... What do you call those things? An oval in the centre here. Do the envelope. Okay, do the envelope. And so you don't even need to, if you're going to hand deliver this one, you don't even need to stick it down or anything. It just folds over the top. Okay, okay. Challenge accepted. We could put the tree into a... Let's see what size ovals I've got. One of these days I'll be organised and I'll actually have a project prepared when I come on to do a live. Right. If I fussy cut that tree out, that would work. So, rather than die cutting it. Oh, actually, let's see. Right, let's go with the biggest oval we've got. These are the layering ovals. So I think we're just going to have to go with a straight cut on that one. And we'll go for Mossy Meadow again, I think, because I've got some here. Let's cut that out and see what that looks like. Stage number 1. As I said to you all last week, sometimes you can get crippled by indecision. And so just do something. And actually it doesn't really matter what you do, even if it doesn't work. But just making the decision, taking the step in your crafting is sometimes the first thing to do. So I'm going to emboss that. And I think, just need to be careful of my ink pad there. I think I might use the Subtles embossing folder. Because I got it out, because I thought it looked nice. The Subtles embossing folder just gives like a texture, a really gentle texture to your die cuts or your cards. I'll show you in a minute. It's better. A picture paints 1,000 words, as they say. Struggling with my sandwich this morning. I don't know why. That's a thick one again, isn't it? Let's close that. I need to write the sandwiches down really, because if I struggle, I don't know how you guys remember at class. Because there's the new thick ones, there's the old thick ones, there's the thin ones. Right, that looks about right. Okay, so this is the Subtles embossing folder, and it just gives this really gentle, natural effect, which is great for doing a kind of natural card as well. So, okay, then we could use a bit of this going across like that and cut the ends. So we'll just trim that, snip. Fishtail those. If anyone knows this is not called a fishtail, something else. Thanks, Fiona. You take care. Look after yourself, my lovely. Good luck with that meeting or project work, and then enjoy your crafty time later. So that just can go along there like that. We are going to do something with the tree, I think. You need a bag for your scrubs. I'll just use the plastic bag. Oh, bless you. Wicked Theatre's in London. Oh, Fiona, bless you. Well, maybe somebody on here will make you a bag for your scrubs. Are the scrubs... Let me get this right in my head. I don't really know much about hospitals. Personally, I genuinely fear going anywhere near a hospital. I hate it. But that's another story. So, are the scrubs the things that you wear, like the gown and stuff like that, Rebecca? Is that what that is? And you need to take it home. Do you take it home and wash it yourself? You don't have big industrial washing machines. I remember in the Navy we used to have to do our own laundry on the small ships. On the big ships they had big industrial, and they had, like, they used to call them chogi men. I'm not entirely sure that's a very PC name, but Chinese men to do the laundry. It was traditionally, always was, Chinese people used to do the laundry. And you'd have, yeah, big laundry rooms, and you'd just dump your bag in and then go and pick it up. Whereas on the small ships you have to do that yourself, which is fine because you get to. So I'm gonna fussy cut this tree, or die cut it. I haven't decided yet, but I'm just gonna stamp it there. And I need a block that's big enough. And I'm gonna stamp it in this ink pad because it's here. Okay. Nice. Yep. Okay. So let's die cut that out and see if that works. Bring this back in. That's going to go on top of there like that, and then we want those words, I think. It's pretty, isn't it? Okay, so I could emboss them. I might just emboss them into white and see what they look like onto white, rather, not in white. Or I could emboss them onto Mossy Meadow in white and then put one there and one there. That might look quite cool. Okay, let's try that. So, let me get the white embossing powder out. I didn't think I was going to need this. There's the white. Let's get these two out. I'm going to need to tidy up again after this. I'm making a right mess. Not that I mind though, but it just seems to be a perpetual tidy mess, tidy mess, tidy mess. I'm sure everybody's the same. So let's get the Versamark. Oh, it's really stunning. Thank you, Julie. I'm just gutted, Julie. I forgot your birthday card. You're not on my birthday calendar. I need to put you on my birthday calendar. I have it was a labour of love making my birthday calendar about 3 or 4 years ago. And you can update it, which is brilliant, but I tend to forget to update it. And if people aren't on my birthday calendar, they don't get a birthday card. And if they are on my birthday calendar, they might get one really early, and then I forget that I've given them one, like I did with Jill the other day. Words are never enough to thank you for what you do. So we're going to cut these out. I said, oh, Jill, I forgot your birthday. She said, no, you gave it to me last month. Right, so let's give the white embossing powder a go on here. Just cover that up. Good old-fashioned piece of paper. So you don't need all these fancy things. And then we'll heat emboss that one. Taking ages. Oh, it's going. There we go. Okie dokie. So that's that Heat Embossed in white, and we're just going to use the trimmer. Again, the mini trimmer would have been ideal. Hopefully maybe they'll bring that out if they've got any left. Depends how many people joined. So I'm just going to try and trim it quite close to the edge. God, it's always a risky business when you do this, isn't it? And I'm never quite sure how it's going to look. I might just use a pair of scissors for this bit. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of trying to use the guide on my trimmer to line it up with, so that I get the same border all the way round. That's really hard to explain, so I'm not convinced I'm doing a very good job of it. Sometimes words fail me. Lovely. Right. So if you weren't on earlier when I was talking about the May online class, while I finish up here, we're going to be using, you might have told from my newsletter, if you don't subscribe to my newsletter and you'd like to, please just give me a thumbs up or send me a message, give me your email address, and I'd love to have you subscribe to that. We're going to be using the Bonanza Buddy designer series paper for our May class in the post. You won't need anything crafty wise apart from, well, I say anything, I might change my mind, but you won't need much. It normally just glue and scissors, and everything else will be kind of there for you just to put together. We can come together and craft along. I'll be sending out a little message to everybody who took part to see if you got on with the Facebook or whether you want to go Zoom, because Zoom can be far more interactive. So if you paid for the class, you'll be getting a message from me soon to see if you wanted to continue on Facebook or go for Zoom. But yeah, it was a blast. I loved it. I had a lot of fun. It'd be nice to have you join us for the May one if you want to. No, it's morning, Dawny. How you doing, my love? I haven't seen you for ages. It's a top and trousers. Oh, okay. Usually only theatres, ITU, and SBU scrubs, but now everybody in the hospital is using them. Oh, right, okay. So you take it home to wash, otherwise nothing to wear the next shift. Jesus, you only got one. Gowns are disposable. That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm funny, Julie. Yeah, I don't know what I did now that was funny, but I do make myself laugh. And I hope I make you guys laugh too, not just myself. Right, so I'm just going to pop this on here. This is going to be for Russ then. He can have a nice little gift tonight. I might put some, I don't know, some chocolate in here. I might put a bit of bar of his chocolate in. Huh? Like, where's my chocolate gone? Aha. Give you a gift later. I don't want to go to the shop, you see. I don't want to go out and go anywhere. Right, so we're just going to pop that on there. And we're just going to layer this all up together. So let's start by sticking this banner on. A little bit of Tombow glue. Try and get it straight and in the middle. So that's the hard thing, isn't it, when you're crafting? Trying to get things straight. Just have to kind of keep looking at it from a distance. That looks good to me. Well, I might put this tree on dimensionals, seeing as I've got a few spare after I got myself stuck on them a minute ago. Put that on there. Oh, I haven't fed the rabbits. I wonder what he was doing out there. I better go and do that in a minute. They have sporadic feeding times, bless them. Anywhere from 5 o'clock in the morning if I do it before I go to work, to lunchtime if I forget. They've always got hay. Don't think I'm starving them. They've always got plenty of hay, but they like their nuggets. So let's take that off just while I line this up. Put that on there. can't imagine only having one pair of scrubs to wear, Rebecca. That's ridiculous, isn't it? And we'll pop a little bit of glue on the back there. What can you imagine if your washing machine broke down? You get a tiny little bit of wiggle room with Tombow, so you do need to be quick. I just noticed that wasn't quite straight. So that's us finished. All right. I'm a nutter, but we wouldn't have you any other way. I am a nutter, Sandy. I learnt from the best, my lovely. You taught me. You taught me well. Right, let's have a little clean up, and we'll show you what we've done. Oh, that was a nice way to spend a morning. Let's get rid of these little ink pads. You can reuse these ink pads over and over again, okay? So you can make loads of stuff with them. They'll stay dry for quite some time. Certainly if you put them in a plastic grip sealy or a stamp case, put them in something like that. So I'm just going to put them over there out the way for a minute. Make sure you haven't got any ink on your hands when you touch your finished projects. And, oops. Right, let me just have a little clear up. That one can go in the bin, I think. That's done with. I love the glass mat for that purpose. You can just, and then do that with my hands, you see. Clear the rest of it up. Let's get a little piece of grid paper back in play. So, what have we done today? I had a good audience. He's listening while washing up. Oh, Izzy, bless him. Say hello to him for me. Hello, Paul. How you doing? Having a nice day? He is very domesticated, your Paul, isn't he, Julie? Right, so what have we done? We've made this card. And this was from my card sketches. Anybody joining us late might not have seen these card sketches. So this was the first one I wanted to go for. And I could have mixed these colours up, but I wanted to keep it fairly plain and simple. And then I've just got this little banner across here. Okay, so that's what this is. A little focal point, one might call it. So we'll pop that one up there. And then we made this card and this bag. Okay, so again, using that sketch. Sorry, Russ just came in a minute ago. It's really thrown me, bless him. I don't know where he's off to. He's going out in the car. It's supposed to be working. So I don't know where he's off to. So we've just done this little stretch up here, this little stretch band down here, a banner across the middle. Be strong, be happy, be you. And words are never enough on there. All right, my lovely lot. Well, I'm gonna leave you, I think, with that. Hope you have a lovely day, whatever you're up to. Keeping safe, keeping inside. And I'll be back on Thursday night, I think, this week. I can't do Friday. Like I said, I have got to go to work. But I will be around on Thursday night. So I think I'll come back and have a play with you guys then. Oh, thanks, peeps. Lots of lovely hearts. Thank you. It means an awful lot, that, to me. Love the card. Beautiful. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Jill. So yeah, I'll see you again on Thursday night. I might be back on the computer tonight in our Facebook group chat. I might log on and see who's around for a bit of a chat. Let's see how it goes. But I'll give you I'll give you a shout out in there. Great session as always. Thank you, Sandy. Nice to see you. Lovely to see you, Heidi. Thank you, Jill. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in and watched me this morning. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Emma. Nice to see you all. And take care. Look after yourselves. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.